Welcome to another episode for this How to Reset. And this, we will talk about local market, any company. Now this is gonna reflect every industry, okay? Doesn't matter whether it's video game, movie, or TV show. It is relevant for every industry, okay? Better to focus on your market, aka local market, than international, okay? And I'm referring to the East.
Is wild right now. We're seeing the downfall of Call of Duty, activists being fired en masse, and projects being canceled. And while we've been talking a lot about Square Enix purging lots of developers and also Sony being focused on their home market, it looks like Japanese companies might actually be leading this major change. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, it never made sense to me that companies just gave up their home market or stopped focusing on it. While, yes, you can make more money by trying to appeal to a global market, ultimately, if you are not making the content that made you popular in the first place and you shift that tone, it is not going to make you money anymore. The reason why Japanese manga and anime and video games became so popular at such a rapid rate was because they were unique, they were different, they were special.
And most importantly, it is local, okay? That's the reason why, in order for you to appease, or look, here how it is. This is the first thing, okay? If you really want to appease everybody, for the time being, focus on the local market, okay? Look, why do you think people, not just in your local or your home country, likes your content, but also the international audience? They also love your content, your product. Think about that, folks.
Now, the Square Enixes and the Sonys have all just made more Western slop. They're not really making what made Japan special in the first place. And I've been talking a lot about Square Enix's mass layoffs. I did another video on Sony preparing to take on Nintendo in Japan.
Let's see how that works.
I think that it's very curious when you see all of this information together, just how much Japan is leading the change in this industry right now. I don't think that we are going to see the EAs change a lot. I don't think that we're going to see the Ubisofts change a lot. Obsidians change a lot. I don't even think we're going to see the Microsofts change a lot right now.
They're gone. No, seriously, all of them are gone right now. Ubisoft is trying to do whatever it takes because the one problem for Ubisoft is the founder, okay? The CEO, Yves Guillemot, okay? As long as he's still in power, any chance of Ubisoft doing something good goes out the window. Unlike in Japan. You see, here, unlike in Japan, you have to know one thing. Japanese companies, regardless of what it is, they have to report their sales, okay? Not just to pay taxes, but to at least protect consumers, okay? AKA, they have to be transparent. Because if they don't, look, the Japanese companies, whether it's game company, movie company, whatever it is, they are not like the West, okay? They will always be transparent, okay?
They see that actually making a certain type of content sells, and they actually start understanding what it is that gamers want versus what they don't want, like Call of Duty Black Ops 7, we could see a much larger change. And over the past couple of years, I've been primarily consuming Eastern content. South Korean developers, Chinese developers, and yes, some Japanese developers are still making way better content than 90% of the companies in the West, and it does suck to say because I want to be able to just consume content from any type of developer from any region, but you can't trust any group of developers across the board. And Square Enix, Sony, all going through some pretty big changes right now, and gamers are excited to see that because it could mean that we actually see a major shift. And I'm not just talking about, some people being laid off and some games being either canceled or repurposed. I mean, we need a total reset.
Folks, listen here. To every Japanese companies, whether you are making movies, TV shows, or even video game, always focus on your local market, okay? This is a good time, okay? I'm glad that Square Enix and Sony PlayStation are realizing their mistake. Now they're going back home. If we can convince Square Enix and Sony PlayStation to go back to Japan, Capcom and Bandai Namco will be next. We need to convince them too to focus mainly on the local market than the international market. I don't know about Koei Tecom. I'm certain they're still doing good.
Yeah, I do think that we could be headed towards that. I know that there's a big worry about AI completely replacing people in creative fields. I don't think that it's ever going to get that dire. And while there are a lot of people saying these mass layoffs aren't good because people are losing their jobs, we're talking about an industry that did overhire people.
Yeah, that's what
After
happened.
the pandemic and work from home became popular, they hired and hired and hired, and then they
A big mistake.
and greenlit.
Big mistake,
And
big mistake.
maybe if they downsize from 20 projects in the works to 10 and they trim the fat and they actually start hiring veteran developers again,
That's right.
things could look better. So Square Enix announced mass layoffs as a restructuring plan pulls development from overseas. According to an internal presentation now published on Squeenix's website, a fundamental restructuring of the overseas publishing organization is being implemented with the aim of further strengthening global publishing capabilities and improving operational efficiency. According to IGN, this forms part of a push to consolidate its publishing business and focus on its own game development in Japan.
Time to go home.
It's thought that the company is currently notifying some staff working in the UK and the US of pending redundancies, and while the exact number of those in scope in the US is unknown, IGN reports 137 jobs are presently at risk in the UK. I've done several videos on the state of Square Enix. They have fired localizers. They fired the Western lead, or I suppose I should say the lead of their Western division. They have fired DEI heads. I mean, we're talking about a lot of people in a lot of ridiculous roles, or people that need to be in touch with the audience that aren't being let go. To strengthen development capabilities from a group-wide perspective and to optimize resource allocation for maximizing the value generated by IPs, a further review of the development pipeline was conducted. As a result, a decision was made to close overseas development studios and shift towards consolidating development functions in Japan. They said that they're reorganizing their operations in North America and Europe to strengthen their development structure and to drive a globally integrated marketing strategy. And they have faced problem after problem after problem over the past few years. Remakes, reboots, rehashes. We're talking about the Final Fantasy series being at risk right now. We're talking about a lot of losses, and they need way more wins. And I do think that, yes, not focusing so much on
Kingdom
the Western
Hearts
world is going to help them. I do think that they need to hone back in on what made them popular and successful in the first place. I'm not saying completely drop, the US and the UK. I'm not saying that because clearly that would not be a very smart move.
Shout out to Vera Dark. Again, look, here's the thing. The problem is every Japanese company needs to do first things first. Before you focus your attention to the international market, ask what the local market wants and then suggested it to the international market. Make it a poll. If the international market loves what you do, go for it. But if they say no, then don't. And the second is, don't listen to activists, okay? I think here's the thing. Many of these Japanese companies who try to invest their product in the West, mainly overseas, they must have listened to journalists who, most of them are political activists disguised as journalists. They give the wrong message. Yeah, they give the wrong message. That's the main problem. And when they give the wrong message, look what's happening right now. And I'm glad that both Square Enix and Sony PlayStation are realizing their mistake. They're now going back to Japan. Although I don't know how Sony PlayStation, if they ever go back to Japan, are going to compete with what? Nintendo? I'd like to see how that works. The next part, besides local market. Now the next part, listen. Always listen to your consumer, okay? Make a poll. Ask people. Don't listen to journalists, okay? I think this whole... Look, I know you want to listen to journalists to get coverage, okay? However, the ones buying your game is gamers, okay? Not journalists, not investors. Okay, well, maybe you want their investment, but gamers are the one that buy your product, okay? And also, the next part, I don't know if this is true. This could be a conspiracy theory, because right now, the heat is on between China and Japan. Their competition, okay? Because remember, Black Myth Wukong was a success. And frankly, it woke up everybody, not just game developer in the West, but also Japan. And they see how focusing on local market works, aka when you focus on the local market, the international market will follow suit. They're learning from China, and Japan is lagging behind, but fortunately they're catching up. Unlike in the West, they're still lagging behind, except of course the indie and AA, okay? They're doing good. And also, I think localization, this last one could be a separate video. To all game developers in Japan or Asia in general, if you have to use AI for translation, just do it, okay? Don't use localization, okay? Most of them are activists. Use AI if you have to, okay?
So, about that noise we heard on the Airborne Squad channel.
Yes?
I analysed the pattern, and the noise translates to kill me.
Well, we'll find out more once we get to the source of the contamination. I wonder what it means.